Hi guys. Thank you for tuning in. I felt prompted to do this video. I just want to give a testimony and a little bit of a rundown about my previous experiences I've had over the past, I don't know, a couple months, and um, about how the script, quote unquote, how you fall away from your first love and come back. So I just wanted to kind of um, I just wanted to tell my story about a little bit more where I came from, where I'm coming from, why I went down the paths that I did. And so, I mean, I was just thinking about this in my head, and I just, you know, exactly at 2:22 a.m. and I don't know, I feel prompted to do this, so I'm just going to do this right now. Anyway, if anyone, because there might be, if anyone is familiar with my testimony, after the Lord intervened in my life at the end of December, that week was insane. I had all this experience with the supernatural that I've never really had before, and it's just life changing and terrifying, and it's all that stuff. But anyway, I had my experience on December 21st, 2012, having to do with the Mayan calendar. And a couple days later, after the Lord intervened in my life, after all that happened, eventually in 2013, I had, I noticed there was extraterrestrials, the Pleiadians. I believe they were Pleiadians, or more known as Pleiadians, but I think they prefer to be called Pleiadians. I've had them come into my story. And that's a whole thing, and blah, blah, blah. But, anyway, I guess it was around towards the end of the summer, this past summer. I want to make this as short as possible because I know I'm hard to follow and not very fun to listen to sometimes. Anyway, at the end of the summer, this past summer, I just started, I started looking at the alien thing a little bit more closely, and whatever. I just received telepathic communications from people who were claiming to be Pleiadians or Pleiadians, and that they were overwatching my situation, that they cared and were upset about what I was going through, and it was really nice to know that people, and letting me know that there are, and this goes for everybody, okay? This goes for all of God's children, especially those severely getting persecuted. There is extraterrestrial life overlooking things, and wars going on in heaven, dark and light, etc. Even in the higher dimensions probably as well. But I was just, and eventually it was my understanding that I was in contact with a council of, telepathic. It was a council overlooking of various beings. Anyway, so of course I was listening and all this stuff, and I was led to the Billymeier UFO case. I was just really getting into the UFO thing. I don't know. I did a little bit fall astray. The woman I fell in love with, who I'm not with anymore, the Lord put her in my life. And, I didn't come from a scriptural background. I didn't, you know, I was really highly into the word for these past couple years. And, well, she kind of went another direction. And my way of thinking was, well, if the Lord put this woman in my life, she is, I should be listening to what she has to say, to hear what is God trying to tell me. Um, and sometimes when we fall astray and veer off the path and come back, we become even stronger. So it's not necessarily a bad thing and all that stuff. But anyway, I was led into the Billymeier UFO case, and I did have prompts from the Holy Spirit. I really felt like the Holy Spirit led me into that case as well. I also felt connections from my original testimony when the Lord intervened in my life, referring to the Billymeier UFO case. So right off the bat, I had a lot of strong conviction into really taking what that information had to say seriously and really take it to heart. And on top of that, when I eventually started learning about their claims of Emmanuel, the man we call Jesus, of our Messiah, I had, out of nowhere, in the middle of listening to the recording, to the video, I had this third eye experience with Emmanuel. And, if you look at the playlist of my testimonies, you can find that recording that I shared with everybody after it happened. But I'll repeat myself, and sometimes the Spirit shows us things that are really hard to explain to other people. Like, I had this experience on the left-hand bottom corner of my mind's eye. Like, so that kind of means something to me that maybe I didn't discern properly. I don't know. You can't really explain this stuff to other people. But anyway, out of nowhere, when I started listening to what they had to say about Emmanuel, I all of a sudden found myself in contact with the man we call Jesus Christ in the third eye. In the spirit, I knew it was the year 32. I knew it was the days before the crucifixion. It's because the Billymeier info says that the Plejarians took Billymeier, Edward Meyer, back in time to meet him, and they had maybe a 10-20 minute conversation. And it's my understanding, I haven't had it fully confirmed, that, of course, time doesn't really exist. So if you could kind of conceive of this, that the experience I had with Emmanuel, with the man we call Jesus Christ, I think that happened right after maybe he met Billymeier. Anyway, all I know is in my mind's eye, I knew it was the year 32. I knew it was days before the crucifixion, and I saw him walking down, kind of like the biblical movies are, just with long hair, a staff in the white robes, kind of brownish robes, and just walking down a dirt Middle Eastern road, just kind of like the biblical movies in ancient times. And he was upbeat, happy, really had that joy of the Lord. And how the Spirit exposes things that are in our hearts, or the truth of things, even if we're not conscious of it. And the Spirit kind of showed, being before this man who was our Messiah, I felt very stupid. Like, he was so much more advanced than I was. And even though I'm 2,000 years in the future, I still felt like really, if I was to stand before him in real life, I would kind of be embarrassed, be like, I'm a stupid person compared to you. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm very primitive compared to you. And so, that kind of came out. And when this happened, I was in like, oh my God, like, this is Jesus. And I was in awe and like in shock. And I felt like he was not happy about that. Like, no, you don't get it. Like, no, this is not what's supposed to happen. But, that's just what was going on in my experience. And anyway, I'll just share the whole experience again. And I didn't know what to say to him. I was just like, well, I hope you're doing well. I didn't know, what do you say, And I just said, I hope you're doing well. And he was just like, yes, I hope you're doing well too. And I don't know if he fully understood why this was happening. I didn't understand why this was happening, but I don't want to misquote. I don't know. But all I know is it was unspoken. I knew it was days before the crucifixion, and I just said, good luck. Maybe those are a stupid thing to say, but that's all I could think of saying. I said, good luck, referring to the crucifixion. And I felt his reaction came into my heart, and I just felt a genuine laughter in my heart, and he just laughed. Not a bad thing. It was just a beautiful, awesome laugh, and I laughed with, and it was so powerful, or just, I felt it so strong. I just laughed with him for that second, and it was kind of separate from seeing him in my third eye. I just felt it in my heart. We just laughed together. And I assume that's because of, what he accomplished on the cross. I don't know, but, I know this sounds all very glorious and all, wow, that's amazing and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I don't think the whole truth was being shown to me. That's the way I'm discerning. And I don't think God would have it any other way. I don't know. I just discerned that I did say to him, well, may the Father bless you. Like, God bless you. The Father bless you. And I didn't get a response. From my experience, what I was reading in the Billymeier information was running parallel to my experiences. So I had a lot of reason to go with that information and go down the way I did wholeheartedly, and I really put my heart and soul, searched, and I bled for it. Like, I really searched for answers, and I was really looking for answers, no matter where the truth was gonna lead. And I still don't have all the answers. I don't know, but anyway, the point, I'm just sharing this because if people could just understand that, that's why I felt very convicted and why I really why I took this information wholeheartedly. I have my reasons. I have my experiences, and I was determined to find answers. And I kept praying and praying and praying and praying. And I don't know. I guess the Lord just needed me to go down my path. I don't really know. But so the first logic thinking is, well, what I'm being told, this information is true, and well, there's these discrepancies, and I'm trying to pan it out, but well, I don't, whatever. Eventually, until recently, after so many months, I even started writing a book, which I felt was very well written and all that kind of stuff, and really nicely put together. But there are discrepancies in the Billymeier info that they do not acknowledge, or they just are not aware of that is the truth. They don't have the whole truth. So, um, and I know they were aware. I know Mr. Edward Meyer is aware of my situation to a degree. I felt him and have communicated with him in the spirit and all that kind of stuff. And I felt even eventually I just got to the point where, well, first I just want to make it clear that, and things I've gotten from the Holy Spirit and, from the Lord, you know, a lot of people probably want to blow off the Billymeier case as, oh, it's a deception, it's evil, it's wrong, or put it in a negated sort of way. And that's never anything I got from the Lord or the Holy Spirit, and that's not how I see it. I just see it's just unethical to share the information, to spread this information. That's why I stopped it. And it doesn't mean, it's not a deception. They don't come from a evil or corrupt heart or a corrupt place. It's just different perceptions, and maybe they just don't have the whole truth. I don't know why. I would love to know why. But some of the basic things of these truths I'll just say is the existence of God as a major, as a deity in the way, as a deity is the way we see the Lord, as a living being. Okay, the Pleorians do not. They say that does not exist in the information, which we know is not true. They don't seem to be aware of, even though they claim to be related to Jesus Christ. I don't know how true that. I don't know, but they don't seem to be aware that his spirit was the foundation of creation. Though the Meyer information sort of, they say it's all the same spirit, and that spirit goes back 12 billion years old. But I mean, why do they deny? I mean, it just doesn't. I think a lot of people already know, but it just doesn't make sense. So, and they also don't talk about the satanic rulership over our planet. There's just things that are even denied, like reptilian shapeshifters and all this kind of stuff that we do know is true, that is told. So it's just unethical to spread the information. So I came to that conclusion. And so I dropped it and brought back to the Lord. And I brought it to the Lord, and I guess the answer the Lord gave me as well, as much as they do know, it's kind of interesting how much they don't know. And it wasn't a rebuke. It wasn't a bad thing, but that's just a word. That was, I've been praying and bleeding for months and months and months, and I finally got the answer to my prayer, and that was the answer to my prayer. After I decided on my own it was unethical to spread the information, and I dropped it. And so, that's kind of where I came from when I left my first love, so to speak, over this past year in general. And my final conclusion is that whatever we don't know, whatever truth there is that we don't know about our Bibles or about our Messiah, about Jesus Christ, and all that kind of stuff, whether, because I do believe the Meyer information has truth and all that kind of stuff, but whatever we don't know is irrelevant right now. So that's my conclusion. It's just irrelevant. Whatever we don't know, it's irrelevant. So we don't need to know in order to have a closer relationship with the Lord, in order to discern and get us through these times. The Bible, the Bible is a gift that the Lord gave us, and it's good enough. And whatever truths there are that we don't know about are just irrelevant. It doesn't matter if we don't know them. That's what I've decided. So, And I'm sure in the future, in the near future, perhaps we will. But when that time comes, that time will come. So that's kind of a basic gist of where I was coming from, where I came from. I just wanted to share, like, I had, if anyone could possibly imagine, I had some real strong reasons going down the path that I did. I had some very strong vindications, and I was determined to get some answers. And that's the kind of person I am. Um, I wholeheartedly do things, and I do it with an open mind and an open heart as much as I can. And so on the surface, it makes me look like I'm going all over the place. I'm not. I don't have sound doctrine and stuff like that. And yeah, sometimes I don't, because I'm searching for the truth, and you have to listen to people, and you have to, you have to have an open mind and an open heart to be wise. And to be wise, sometimes that makes you stumble all over the place. So, um, I don't know. I hope I don't come off standoffish saying that. I don't mean it like that, but that's kind of the person I am. That's where I come from. That's kind of where I'm coming from. So, okay. I don't know. 21 minutes. I guess that's long enough. That's kind of like my testimony. So, um, okay. Thank you for listening, guys. God bless.